All right, everyone. Welcome back to Rhythm Railroad. I'm doing this project or these videos live, one facility at a time. So the last video I did was on my ferry system, and I showed everybody how that works, and also getting the rolling stock from one level to the next. In this particular case, it were covered hoppers. So I brought it from the lower level to the upper level where the grain elevator is, and all the trains waiting for for switching those cars out are waiting. So I did that there, and today I'm going to work on the lumber facility. But I think the best way to do things is to start at the yard and setting up a train, and then bringing it over to the destination that I want to show you guys. So first, I'm going to set up my train using my switcher engines, which are the Southern engines right here. So the idea right now is that I have to do a few things before I get my main train set up. There's a few line of cars, a few combination of cars waiting already to get picked up. For example, the wood chip cars I'm going to pick up right there, and also the I don't know if you can see it. It's like the fourth track in, the log car with the hopper, the covered hopper in the front, um, and the empty wood chip car right there, which I need to drop off also to get filled up. But there was another wood chip hopper, the same as this one, a wood chip car. I mean, that is being repaired in the repair in place track with the little shed that I have over here. So it's actually waiting behind the shed to get picked up. So let's see if we can get that going. I'm going to try to get the camera angles right. Let's see if everything will run smoothly. By the way, I also have my coal train running, which is what I normally do when I'm doing like mini operations like this. I just have my coal train running in the background, and it makes it a little bit more interesting because then, the idea is that I'm going to try to dodge it as much as possible as I make my rounds around the facilities. So let's go back to the switcher engines here. I have them selected already. The first thing I'm going to do is pick up the line of cars over here with the log cars. So let me get that going. What I'm going to do is cross over first. Sorry about the shakiness. I'm just trying to get the tripod going. These two little engines I've had for a very, very long time. They were one of my original engines, and they've gotten pretty beat up between just moving and different layouts and also learning how to use them. So I kind of, I did a lot of wrong things. I made a lot of mistakes with these engines. So they're a little rough, but that's okay. Eventually I'll get new parts or whatever. I'll try to fix them up a little bit. So right now what I'm trying to do is get to the track where the ladder is. And the crossover is right here. I don't have the sound going in the engines right now because I don't feel like speaking over the sound. I just figure it'll be easier without the sound. So let me cross over here, and I'm gonna have to set up for that track. Before I continue, let me just my Coltrane came apart a little bit, so let me just put it back together. I got a coupler here that keeps wanting to detach, so hopefully I can keep it together. All right, so back to this. Hey guys, how you doing? All right, so I'm on track number 4. That's where I want to go right now. So that'll be my first part of the train. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. I hope I don't bore you. All right, so I'm going to pull this line of cars out. And I already had a line of cars in this arrival departure track, which I'm going to try to avoid. So I'm just going to basically set the whole train up in the ladder track. I have a yard lead that's pretty long, so it's kind of nice that it kind of wraps around those bottles of glue and ballast all the way back there. So I just gotta control my engine here. This is what I'm talking about. These engines are kind of old, so they tend to have a mind of their own sometimes. All right, so let me clear the turnout here. So the first thing I want to do now is pick up the other wood chip car that was being repaired. This way it'll be right next to this one, and they can be together, and they'll be organized. So let me go ahead and back this up. And I have to switch that out. See if I can make a good connection here. Not sure if that actually grabbed. Yep, looks like it did. All right, and while I'm there, I don't know if you guys saw the caboose there. I'll eventually come back for those, but I want to set up the main part of the train first. I don't know if you guys find yard work interesting, but I do. I like doing all the setups and classifying the terrain and all that stuff. I don't have like a real system just yet, but I'll eventually create something so that I have, you know, cards and stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the string of cards with the filled hoppers. Theoretically, they should be empty, and I would be taking them there to get filled, but I don't feel like taking the loads out right now, so we're just going to go with that. All right. So let me get that turnout. It's track number 6. And we're going to grab onto those. Oops, see what I mean? They just want to go. All right, let's see if that grabbed on. Yep. Looks like we're good. These engines are so jumpy. All right, so now let me back up and grab my caboose. Get that switched up first. The caboose track. And now we're gonna back up. So we're gonna grab that caboose right there, the first one. Looks like we made a good connection there. And now I'm going to pull them out. I really wish these engines were a little smoother right now, but looks like the one is hesitating a little bit and the other one's kind of pulling it away. Okay, so now that I'm out of that section, I'm going to back it up and leave them there. Oh, I guess I lost my caboose. All right, I thought I latched on, but I guess not. Let me go back and grab that again. Sorry about that. Now I got it. All right. Yeah, I left my conductor. Oh well. I got him now. Okay, so switch that out again. Looks like my coal train is still together, knock on wood. It hasn't detached. So now I'm going to back up so I can get my switcher engines out of the way and bring in my real engines, like the ones that are actually going to do the job. So I just got to clear the crossover that I'm going to be using to pull the engines out through. If you believe that, then you must be a conductor. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there for now. And now the idea is that I'm gonna get these switcher engines out of the way so that the other engines can come and pick up. So most of my yard turnouts are hooked up to servos, so I'm able to switch all of them. You know, the ones that are hooked up through a central panel, which is nice because you know when they're kind of far away like this, I can just do it from here and not have to worry about walking over and you know doing it with my hand or whatever. But you know, some of them are not. Maybe eventually I will do it so that they're all hooked up. But as of right now, I'm gonna keep it like this. So let me get these engines out of the way. The Rock Island SD40-2s are the ones I'm going to be using to pull this train. So these switcher engines are going to go back to the engine facility. So I'm just going to. These are one of the ones that are not hooked up. I'm going to park these over here. Let's clear the turnout. And now I'm going to take the SD40-2s that are being fueled up. I don't know if you can see it there, but that's my. Yeah, exactly. Now the road crew is coming on. See, I don't know the terminology, so I know what's supposed to happen. I don't know how to say it correctly. So that's the fueling station, which is, you know, I'm still missing the pumps and all that stuff, and I'm gonna make it I'm gonna make it look a little bit more realistic. You know, once I get more of the parts that I need. But for now, just pretend like there's fuel pumps there. I'm not sure what the question is. DCC turnouts? What do you mean? Like am I controlling the DCC turnouts through JMRI? Is that what you're saying? All right, so I'm going to release the switcher engines and I'm going to pick up the other crew. Let's just see if I have this set up correctly. Yep. All right. So as these engines start making their way, yeah, I know. I don't know why it's doing that. Sometimes it tries to focus and it can't figure it out. You know, add a little sound here. Yep. I don't know what happened there, but I lost them. That was just dirty tracks. Yeah, I think I understand what you're asking. So the yard and the industries that I have in my layout are just running on servos or just manually. I'm not controlling them through JMRI or any kind of decoder. But the mainline turnouts are being controlled by decoders and through JMRI mostly. Um, Hello, Bunny Tube. So I'm trying to do all this and read the comments at the same time, so if I miss something, I apologize. It's hard to see on this little phone also. This little screen. So, as I make my way back to the train just to connect here, let me see if I can show you the panel that I'm using to connect the servos, to control the servos rather. Basically right there. Merry early Christmas? Yes, indeed. Santa Claus is on his way. Hopefully to my house. So as I make this connection here, what I wanted to just explain is that the servos are controlled by servo testers, which are, I think, a very efficient and cheap way to go. Because, first of all, the servo testers are like 99 cents. So, I probably spent, just a couple of bucks in setting this entire thing up. I think that the cables for the servos are actually more expensive than the actual servo testers. And then you can get a servo for like anywhere from 99 cents to like $2. They're so cheap. So I got a lot done, and I went a really long way by having servos all over my yard. As you can see, all those are controllers. And other places like in this industry down here also. Slow camera, but there's another panel down here. I have 4 more there, and there's a bunch on the other side too. So, as soon as I found out how to use them, and then I designed my own little system to hook up to the turnouts, it became so much better than having to spend $20 every time you want a tortoise machine, and then the controller, and then the DP/DT the switch, and all the stuff that comes along with it. It gets expensive. So this is a great solution, and it's cheap. All right, so I'm going to ask the dispatcher to give me clearance for this track, and I think this might answer the question that Closet Branch was asking. So let me just take you over here to my control panel. So here's my control panel. Trying to get my camera angle right. And the thing on the right is basically all of my main line, and all of my main level rather, and here is my upper level. So there is a train up there. That's why you see the red. I have the occupancy detection detecting a train on that side of the layout. And over here you'll see that there's a train coming through here on this main line, which is my coal train. Right there. It's it's all of that. It's taking up that whole section. And then sorry, this camera. I'm still not used to this camera controller. And then you don't see the train that's in the yard right now because it's not hooked up to occupancy detection inside the yard. So as soon as it comes out, you'll see it. But what I'm trying to get to is, here's my yard. I'm trying to take the train through here, then access the Y, which is this section here, so I can turn it around and go in this direction. I'm gonna make my way around, go up the grade, and then I don't know if you can see it says lumber there. That's the facility I'm looking to get to. So I'm going to have to switch the yard turnout right there, and then if I get clearance from the other train that's coming around, I can go through there. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy right now. So my mouse is actually, I have a remote mouse that I can use anywhere, so I don't need like a pad or anything. So I'm going to take my mouse and switch, oops, not that. Just make sure that I'm switched to the yard. And I don't know if you could hear the turnout, the tortoise machines there, but they switched. And then right now I have a coal train coming through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the train through to this point right here and wait for the coal train to pass. Then I'll have more time to go through town without having to worry about the coal train so much. So, again, sorry about the camera. I can't get the control in place. Okay. This camera is good for like small movements and slow motion, but not for very fast stuff. I gotta switch the settings for that. All right, so I'm gonna take my train and make my way to the Y, which is where those glue bottles are over there, and just wait for the other train to pass. Yeah, it should be lined up because I did that on the computer with my dispatcher. Oh no. All right, the dispatcher did the right thing, but the yardmaster screwed up. He put me back on the lead, so I'm gonna back up here. Wow, that guy's fired. Alright, so the yardmaster just got yelled at, and now we're clear. And there is a road there, so that's why I'm blowing the horn for that. Alright, as you can see, the coal train is going through right now on the other side. And the track is just a little dirty there. Yeah, it's just a little dirty. So as the coal train makes its way through, I'm gonna wait. If I don't stall first, I'm gonna wait for clearance. Right around there. I'll watch the coal train go through. It's very long, so I'm sure the neighborhood is very upset right now. Blocking up traffic. The name of the town is no name right now because it was going to be Saluda, the famous Saluda, with the Saluda grade in South Carolina. But I decided to not do that and just go with just my own town because I was getting tied into a lot of things, and it limited everything. So, hey Randy. So yeah, so it's just a town right now. I'll eventually give it a name, but the original plan was to make it Saluda. So actually, if you take a look at Saluda pictures, like GPS photos, you'll see that it's set up the same exact way as this, and it's got the the roads with the bridge on both ends, and the neighborhood set up with the streets in the same placement. The only thing that's not there is the station. But I added it there because it made sense to me. All right, so I'm going to go back to the dispatcher. I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm going to go back and ask for clearance now that the coal train is out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And of course, it's always nicer if I had, if I have a dispatcher. But I don't right now, so I have to be my own dispatcher, my own everything. All right, so now I'm going to make my way into town. The crossing gates will be set off right now because I'm crossing the sensors. I don't know if you can see them there. These engines were working very smoothly, and in just one day, I guess, the oxidation or whatever. I guess it's making them stutter now. It's a shame. They were working great the other day. That's one thing that I hate about this hobby. Just keeping those tracks always clean, and they just get dirty so fast. So, as I make my way around, I've got to line up the switch for the lumber facility, so that's what I'm going to do now. And you're going to see that the gates are going to go up as soon as the last car crosses, the caboose in this case. And I love the system that I have for the crossing gates, but I'll talk about that some other time. So as you can see, yep, they're going up right there. Yeah, it's a really nice system. Very accurate, very realistic. So I'm going to make my way over to the other side of the layout, which is where the lumber facility is, right there. And hopefully things will go a little smoother here. The lumber facility was actually the first industry that I built on this layout. And I was a little clueless when I was building all this stuff. I still am, but I know a little bit more. So at least some of the things are a little bit more accurate. But as you can see in the lumber facility, there's a smokestack with smoke coming out of it for no reason at all. I just like it there. And there's a very tall building back here that's supposed to be, I have no idea, because I just like it there. I thought it looked cool. So that's there. But that belongs there. That's a wood chip loader. And I scratch built that. I made that totally from scratch. And this is an old building that I had on my other layout with the lumber inside. This is the office. So all this stuff kind of belongs there. Makes more sense. But whatever. I like it like that, so I'm going to keep it. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so here's what I'm faced with in this situation. And I designed it this way on purpose so that I could have a little bit more of a challenge. The idea is that I have to obviously deliver the wood chip cars, but I want to put the empties under the loader, and I want to put, thank you, Randy, thank you. And I want to put the ones that are loaded right on the other track, which is kind of like a holding track for when a train picks up the wood chips. So the first thing is that I'm on a 2% grade right now, and so I need to put something behind the caboose that acts as a brake in order to, so it doesn't roll backwards. So what I found was one of the easiest thing was just to use an old Bright Boy and just place it behind the caboose until I'm done. So before I do all that, let me just make sure the dispatcher clears all the tracks so that my coal train doesn't come smashing into me. So he's going to make that the turnout you see right at the bottom of the camera here. He's going to switch it out so that the coal train get around us. And I already switched out the Y while I was making my way here. So the coal train should not be a problem at all. It'll just go around us. And I can work on this other main, switching the facility out. So let me just uncouple the caboose so I can get everything else done. As you can see, it rolled back a little bit, but you probably didn't see that. It rolled back a little bit, but the Bright Boy is just stopping it there. Obviously, I'd like to get something a little bit less cumbersome because I don't want the other train to smash into it. You know what? Maybe I'll just use a piece of cork instead. It's thinner. There we go. That was easy. Okay. Now, here's how this works. First, let me just get the train a little bit more forward so I can get lined up for that turnout. Alright, stop right there. And then what I picture is that the conductor or whoever is going to get clearance from the facility office to have access to the turnouts and stuff. I don't know if that's a thing, but it's a thing on my layout. And what happens is once the office gives us clearance, we can access the control panel, which I'm super excited about because I like the way it came out. What I did is I made it so that the control panels don't stick out into the aisle. Since I have limited space here, I don't want things sticking out into the aisle. So I actually built it into the fascia. Here comes the coal train through now. So that's lined up for the other main. So the way it works is that there's, the same way that I use the linear actuator for the ferry, I basically bought a mini version of that. So instead of being like whatever 17 inches, this one's just 4. And I built it into under the benchwork here, but behind a little drawer that I built here. As you can see, you know, there's nothing here, but this double pull, double throw switch controls it in both directions. So if I click it up, the access panel comes out, which I think is so cool. So now this access panel controls all the turnouts in my lumberyard. And let me just get a little closer here so you can see the map. You know, so I'm calling it Mountain Lumber just because that was a simple name, and there's a huge mountain right behind it. But as you can see, that's the map for all of the turnouts in that facility. The other switch that you see here is for the power. And the only reason I did that is because I don't like the servos to be powered all the time. Because I've heard things, I mean, it's never happened to me, but I've heard that if you keep them on all the time with power running through them, they eventually burn out. So, you know, why take the risk? So I just made a very simple on-off switch here that I can turn on this way. And then, you know, each one of these controls the turnouts in the facility. You can kind of hear the motors going. So the one that I need to get to right now is this one here, which is the main line is this. So I got to get into the yard here. And so I'm going to switch that over. And let me see if I can get... Just give me 1 second. Just having a little trouble with one of them. This one right here is for some reason gets stuck. And I think it's just that the wires that I've been using are not thick enough. So, oh. Oops. This video is definitely not going as smooth as my other one. Oh boy, everything's going wrong today, huh? Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to try to make this work. I don't know if I can because it's acting up a little bit. I'm not getting power to these two right here. I'm not getting power to them. I'm getting everything else, but not those two. Sometimes if I just turn it on and off, yes, it fixes it, but right now it's not working. So what I think I'm going to do is just deliver the cars that I can, and the ones that I can't, I just won't. All right, so I got access to the track there, to the yard there, rather. So I'm going to back the train up. And I'm just going to place the wood chip hoppers in that wood chip loading track. Before I continue, I'm going to just set up my coupler so that I can just shove in without having to uncouple later, because it's too tight back there. Alright, so I'm going to leave those there. And then what I'm going to have to do, because normally I would just leave those two on the other track, but I'm going to pick up the car that's right here and the other car that's inside here, and then I'm going to leave them on the main and come back to the main, leave them there, and then just drop off the hoppers where those cars are right now. So they want to pick them up, so we'll do that instead. Sorry I couldn't get this thing working right now. Oops. So let me switch this out. Okay. So I'm going to pick up this flat car with all the lumber on it. All right, and then I come back in and pick up the beam, the center beam car that's inside the lumber house. Oops. Okay. Let's switch this out. Here comes the coal train again. See, the nice thing about this is that I don't have to really pay attention to the coal train, unless it comes apart, of course, but, oh. and it'll just go around just to give it another level of reality, sort of realism, I should say, and I can still work around it. So now I'm pulling out that center beam car. And like I said, because that turnout's not working over there, I'm just going to place the flat car and the center beam car on the main where the caboose is, and then go back and deliver the empty hoppers. And then I'll be done. I do have a switcher back there waiting, because my idea was to have like a holding track back there. But I think what I'm going to do instead, as you can see, is put just another small facility there where you can load just boxcars or whatever. A little platform, little building there. And it'll be like kind of like a team track where the switcher will be switching for both the facility there and also the lumber yard. But that was my original plan, was to have that little switcher there to do all the work, and then just have the main, like the local train pick up or drop off. All right, so we're getting there. I love this call train. It goes forever. I don't even know how many cars I have on there. I think it's like 40, maybe a little under. But all right, so I'm clear of the main turnout here. I'm going to switch it. I'm gonna go back toward the caboose. Latch on. And the cool thing about the cork is that I just found out right now, it slides. So that's kind of cool if I need a little bit more room just to push back. Because now when I uncouple here, hopefully all the cars will stay put while I finish up my switching here. Yep, they're staying there. All right, so this is the last move. Get those empty wood chip cars back in, and I'll just drop them off in the that main track there, and then I'll be done. So I mean, I'm happy overall with how this came out. Today I'm having some trouble with it, so I apologize for the little choppy operation here. All right, backing up. I think the best way to find out more about my layout is on my YouTube channel. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rhythm Railroad, you'll see a bunch of videos. I've made a lot of videos already, but not live ones, just things describing and explaining and things like that. From the bench work all the way up to the more complicated stuff with the wiring and stuff like that. But on Facebook, I don't have a Facebook page set up for my actual layout. I have one just for myself that I post things through my own name. But you can reach me through there also, and or just send me a message or post on this thread or whatever, and I'll get back to you or help you with anything that you might be interested in. But yeah, no major productions here. Just everything's the best that I can for right now, and then hopefully it'll get better as I go. So, all right, so I'm done here. Let me just get out of this facility now. I'm gonna try to make one more video tomorrow. I'm not sure which industry I'm gonna switch out tomorrow, but I have some time tomorrow, and then my weekend's kind of busy, so I'm not gonna be able to do anything. So if you're interested, I'm gonna probably do it at night tomorrow around 9 o'clock Eastern time, and hope to see you there. And if you like what you see and you want to leave some comments, that would be greatly appreciated. And again, you can find me on Rhythm Railroad on YouTube on my channel, and you can subscribe there, and you'll get notifications every time I make a new video or go live. All right, so I'm going to contact the office. I'm going to tell them that we're basically finished here. They're going to give me permission to just switch that turnout one last time and lock up the system. This way no other trains can go in. And then basically I'm going to turn it off here and then pack it up. So I love the way that came out. I'm really happy with that. And the nice thing is that it has an automatic shut off right there, so it's not like I have to worry about turning it off. But I always like to put all my DP-DT switches on neutral, which means that there's no power going to the motor at all. All right, so let me make my way back to the rest of the train, hook up, and then we'll be on our way. Haha. Look at that, I guess it didn't hold it that well. Yeah, the Bright Boy definitely works a little bit better than that. Okay. Awesome. So my engine shut off because it's been acting up. But now it's back on. So, all right, so I'm gonna get going. This is the end of the video pretty much. Like I said, if you want to reach me or see my other videos, Rhythm Railroad on YouTube is the best way. But you can also contact me through just messaging me directly through this video. All right, I'll see you next time.